Good morning, sixth graders, and happy Friday. I am going to be filming this a little bit different today, trying to film it with my left hand here because I don't have my tripod while I write with my right hand. But before I start, I just want to show you guys where I am right now. It's really beautiful. This is Salt Lake right out here. Salt Lake City is off that way, so it was glowing last night over there. And this is Antelope Island. And when I got to this campsite yesterday, there was a wild buffalo right over here in this field. So there's about 700 buffalo that live on this island, and they really are roaming around all over the place. And then 2 antelope just came down this hill right here and walked out around the edge over there. So I stayed here last night, and today I'm moving on to Bryce Canyon. So this is lesson 7.2. which is unit rates, a review, and unit rate with fractions. If you were in my Kahoot on Tuesday, we did unit rate, and it seemed like it was pretty easy for everybody. We hit it pretty hard in September. So like I said, my notes are going to be a little different today, but I'm just going to do my best. So in September, we did unit rates. A unit rate is the amount that something happens in 1 unit. So for example, how far I walk in 1 hour, or how much it costs for 1 pizza, or how many pages I read in 1 minute. All right. And so, like I said, we did this on Tuesday, but if you were not with us on Tuesday, this will just be a good quick review. So for example, here's the pizzas. So I have the number of pizzas and how much they cost in dollars. So say I'm given that I can get 3 pizzas for $20. So that's what I'm given. That's what the deal is. But I want to know the unit rate, which is how much is it for just for one pizza. Okay, so you might remember that we did, we cut things out of the newspaper, like advertisement things, and we did the unit rate for ounces or like for pounds or a certain amount of a product. Okay, so that's what we're doing here for pizzas. So I'm going to show you the math that I'm doing and then just how it applies to what we're doing today, which is unit rates with fractions. All right, so the rate that I'm given is that I can get 3 for $20. Well, I want to know how much it costs to just get 1, or how much each of those costs. So I'm just going to look at how these are related to each other. To go from 3 to 1, I need to divide by 3. So hopefully this is familiar to you. We've done this where I've written on the side with arrows or written in between here lots of times throughout the year. So today I'm going to be doing it on the side here. So if I divide that side by 3, I need to divide this side by 3 as well. If I divide 20 by 3, I get $6.66. So that gives me a unit rate that for 1 pizza, it costs $6.66. Okay, and then I can apply this to any amount. So what if I want to know if I buy 4 pizzas, how much it's going to cost me? Well, the math for that, if I do the arrow here to go from 1 to 4, is going to be times 4. So I have to do times 4 on this side as well. And $6.66 times 4 is 26. I don't know if this is exact after the decimal. I can't remember because I did it earlier. $26.64. Let's do pages. Number of pages that I read in a minute. So this is what I'm given right here. I read 5 pages in 10 minutes. Well, I want to know how much I read in 1 minute. That's going to give me a unit rate of how many pages I read per minute. And right here I have a note that says it doesn't matter what order the tables are in, the math is still the same. So like you can see over here, I had my thing I was initially given here, and then my 1 unit rate was down below it. Over here it's written a different way. This is what I'm given, and my 1 unit rate is up above. The math is going to be the same because I'm just going to look at how those relate to each other. So to go from 10 to 1, I need to divide by 10. So I'm going to divide by 10 over on this side as well. And 5 divided by 10 is 1/2. So in 1 minute, I can read half of a page. What if I want to know how much I read in 4 minutes? Now I want to go from the unit rate that I have, which is in 1 minute, I read half of a page, and I want to go to 4, relate to each other. And it is times 4. So now I'm going to do times 4 over here. And 1/2 times 4 gives me 2. So I'm able to manipulate this any way that I want, really. I could even do it if I was given, say, I read 100 pages. How many minutes did it take me? Just looking at the math and how I can relate these unit rates, or what I'm given here, how they all relate to each other. So how far I walk, number of miles in the amount of hours. So say I walk 9 miles in 3 hours. I want to know how much I walk in 1 hour. How do these relate? 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. So I need to divide by 3 on this side as well. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So my unit rate, in 1 hour, I walk 3 miles. Well, what about if I walk for 27 hours? Using my unit rate, now I'm going to see how these relate. 1 times 27. Ooh, there's a hawk flying right by in front of me right now. 1 times 27 gives me 27. So I am going to multiply this by 27 as well. So same thing on both sides always. And I get 81. So if I walked for 27 hours, I could go 81 miles. And I'm doing that using the unit rate. Well, I'm just showing you how you can manipulate these numbers. But the unit rate is how much of one thing I can get for 1 unit of the other. Okay, so this is how this looks in the examples we've been doing, which is like paint mixtures, or this mixture that they give is juice, or we could do it with trail mix. So say like trail mix, if we're doing peanuts to M&Ms, I used that example the other day. So that's a ratio instead of a rate. So let's look at what this would look like. Sue and Ben's drink recipes. Sue's recipe has 5 cups of cherry juice and 4 cups of orange juice. Ben's has 6 cups of cherry juice and 5 cups of orange juice. So I set those up right here. Here's Sue's and here's Ben's. It's cherry to orange. Remember that these 2 dots right here in a ratio mean 2. And it's 5 cups of cherry to 4 cups of orange, so it's 5 to 4. And Ben's was 6 cups of cherry to 5 cups of orange, so it's 6 to 5. And I just took that ratio and put it into a table so that it looks like what we did on this page. So now I want to know the unit rate. So here's what I'm asking. Find the amount of cherry needed for 1 cup of orange. So I put my 1 cup of orange right here. And I have, how do I go from 4 to 1? Divide by 4. So I have to divide this side by 4 as well. Okay, so 5 divided by 4. I'm actually just going to leave this as a fraction. 5 over 4. That is fine because I'm going to show you how we manipulate this later. And this is what the homework asks you to do. So it's divided by 4, but I'm not going to do the math on it. I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. And for Ben's over here, I want to know for 1 cup of cherry or 1 cup of orange juice, 5 divided by 5 gives me 1. So I need to do this side by divided by 5 as well. Leave it as a fraction, and it gives me 6/5. So if I put in 5/4 cups of cherry juice to 1 cup of orange juice. Well, that makes sense because I can see 5 to 4. I'm putting in a little more cherry juice. This is just a little over 1. So I'm putting in a little bit more than 1. I put in a little more cherry juice in this one. And 6 over 5 is just over 1 cup. So that makes sense too. So here's how I would manipulate these. Say if number 2 here. Now, what if they each had 6 cups of orange juice to use? Well, I've already found the unit rate. Like for Sue, the ratio that I had was 5 to 4. I already found the unit rate, which is that for 1 cup of orange juice, she uses 5/4 cup of cherry. Now, what if they each had 6 cups of orange juice to use? So I'm gonna put my 6 here. So just like I did on the page before, I wanna think of how am I going from this unit rate to here? Multiplying by 6. So I have to multiply by 6 on this side as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do my math for that. I need a piece of scratch paper, but I don't have one. 5/4 times 6 over 1 equals 5 times 6 is 30 over 4. $30 over 4, 3/4 cups of cherry juice to 6 cups of orange. Now, of course, I recognize that I could reduce this, but this will work for an answer as well, or you could reduce it. Let's do the same for Ben's. So his ratio was 6 to 5, and then I found the unit rate, which is that I put in 6/5 cups of cherry for 1 cup of orange, and now he has 6 cups of orange to use. So to go from here to here, I multiply by 6. I need to multiply by 6 here as well. So I have 6/5, 6 over 1, 36/5. I will put in 36/5 of cherry juice, whoops, for 6 cups of orange juice. And again, you can do this by, well, that one doesn't really look like it will reduce, but I'm moving the 5 over and the 36 here to find out, to turn that into a mixed number. All right, so quick lesson on there. I think that this will be pretty easy for you guys. if you just go back applying what you already know, which is this, and then not feeling overwhelmed by that it's a little bit different concept. So have a great day, and I will send you guys out a lesson on Monday. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the mountains over here. Snow-capped mountains. All right, have a great Friday. Have a good weekend.